All right, before we get the episode started, we want to shout out our tour sponsor, African Pride.
African Pride, making great products for you and I. On our hair.
I knew it was coming. I was going to start talking and I was like, no, let him finish.
I got to resolve the chord.
Yes. Every week we are giving away a wonderful giveaway box with a bunch of African Pride goodies. We have, what do we have in here? We have edge control. We have black castor miracle oil. We have conditioner. We have shampoo chat. We have all of the things inside of this box. And the winner, or we will pick the winner for this week's episode by having you go to the most recent African Pride post.
And their Instagram is My African Pride.
Yes.
On Instagram.
Their Instagram is at My African Pride. And all you're going to do is comment, the Love Hour sent me here. Mm-hmm. Should you tag us or just the Love Hour?
Do the at Love Hour podcast.
Yeah.
Sent me here.
Okay.
And we will go through and pick one of those comments and give you a gift box.
And make sure your alerts are on because we be trying to tell y'all won.
We be DMing y'all and y'all be DMing us.
Y'all don't be DMing us back though. So make sure all your stuff is on. Okay. So that's how we're going to choose. Go to the most recent My African Pride Instagram post, comment, tag at the Love Hour podcast sent me here.
Boom. Shakalaka.
Boom. Shakalaka. Now let's get started with the show.
Whoosh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Love Hour podcast. I'm your host, MrsKevOnStage, and I'm joined by my husband and co-host,
the KevOnStage.
And if you notice that our outfits are the same, no
mind
judgment.
your business.
Mind your business, indeed.
We are shooting 2 episodes because right now we in Mexico.
Hey,
with our shirts off.
Actually, we're not in Mexico this week.
This is for next week.
Yeah.
We finna be in Mexico. We're preparing to be in Mexico. We're in Mexico in our minds.
Yes, but my son is graduating from middle school.
And that's why we're shooting.
And my mom will be in town, and we don't want to leave y'all hanging. So we're filming as many episodes as we can as possible, which is 2. If you're new to the Love Hour podcast, thank you so much for joining us. The Love Hour is a podcast where we talk about life, love, then the pursuit of happiness. I'm struggling, child. We base everything off of our own experiences. We are very honest and transparent. I was just actually reading a comment, and one of the comments said, "Thank you for being so brave when sharing your marriage with us." And I always have like a moment where I'm like, I don't know if this is like really a good thing or if this is like really dumb.
It is definitely a conscious choice.
It is.
Because one, I think one of the reasons I like doing it is to help people. That's by far in a way. And I know that's where your heart is. Number 2, to dispel this rumor or myth that we're relationship goals, meaning that we have a perfect relationship that is without work, without obstacle.
Right.
And I think those 2 things were like, made me realize people be like, man, if you listen to the podcast, you'd be like, oh, they be going through the same stuff that we be going through. You know, I think we were talking about this on your book club live this morning. Which I don't know if this is a topic or something, but I feel like we should delve into that.
Delve into what?
The Come As You Are book. Okay. About you learning about your accelerators and brakes and how that made me feel. Okay. And I wanted to talk about that in depth.
Well, it'll probably tie in today with our
okay, perfect.
You know what I'm gonna say? Okay, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so cool. All right.
Did you have something to say?
No, that was it.
Oh, I didn't know if you finished your thought.
Those are the 2 things. It was that it's a little bit weird to be on display. Yeah. The realness of it. It's not, we just do not share our wins. We share our wins, our losses. We share things that are happening in real time.
Yes.
And I was telling you this morning when you've been sharing this story in the Love Hour about the Mother's Day gift. And to hear some of the words I've said back replayed, it'd be like, boy, Kev, you be tripping. Yeah. And I know people probably think, oh, Kev is a perfect husband. He's so tall. He's so athletic. He's so fast.
Tall and handsome, fast make you a good husband. Those are the attributes, characteristics.
Perfection. and I am a working husband. I'm just like every other husband, working to be better for you. Yes. And the one thing I'll say to finish off this thought, I'm realizing in year 15 of marriage, you have to put in the same work as year 1, year 3, year 5, year 7?
Because we're constantly growing and constantly evolving. What we talk about this in the Love Hour this year, which I won't give away, but part of it, because you should attend, but part of it is that what made me tick early on may not be what makes me tick now. And you can't get so comfortable in expecting that in and out of who I am and not allow me that room, you or me, that room to grow and evolve, because as people, we're constantly growing and evolving.
And I love to make sports references for the men that listen. The great coaches who coach for 10, 15, 20 years, they have to evolve.
The coaches have to go, yes, because the game evolves.
The game of basketball right now, the game Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller played,
sure,
it's not the game they're playing now.
Sure.
So if you're trying to bring them old philosophies to the Warriors, it's not the same thing. I was watching this clip of this basketball. It was the finals, and Reggie Miller was playing. The final score was 69-67.
Oh, wow.
That is like a halftime score now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the playoffs, So it's just interesting about life, like even in everything, rap, film, Rev Run, rapping style. We talk about this on
It's so dated.
When he rapped on that BT Cypher, we were like, boy, you sound old.
Yeah.
They ain't rapping like that.
That's
and then
so true.
Playboy Cardi is like, how did I see? Is
that a new rapper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they don't be saying
The
clear
same.
words.
Sure, it's all mumble
the
rappers.
words don't be clear.
Yeah.
Beat Fire,
Yes.
Ad-Lib Central.
I don't know what you said. I was like, beat fire. What does that mean?
You is somebody's mama. What that beat fire?
Your
behind gonna be fire if you don't get in there to get off that phone.
I was like, what did he just say?
There's gonna be some fire up here. I know you ain't got that Holy Ghost. It's gonna be fire shut up in your bones.
Shut up.
And close my door. You gonna be somebody's mama watching stories.
I know.
Close my door and finish my stories up.
I'm somebody's mama right now.
I'm worried about what you gonna be as an old woman.
I age myself because I always say movies wrong.
Oh my gosh. Melissa, you are turning into full mom. We left these theaters. This woman said, y'all don't, we left Guardians of the Galaxy. How did y'all like that Pirates of the Galaxy and the Guardians of the Caribbean? Did y'all like that film? Yeah, I like the Avengers Infinity Games. I really like that.
Isn't it Infinity? No, it's
Infinity War. You always mix one real movie from another movie.
Yeah, I do.
Y'all watch that Spider-Man Homegoing?
That's what it's called.
Homecoming. See?
Oh, dang it.
You got that Homecoming service. Hit Homegoing. Did he die in that one? He died in that Homegoing service?
I don't know why these titles are so similar.
Spider-Man?
They shouldn't be interchangeable that way.
They're not. You just picked where did Pirates of the Caribbean come from when you were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, I think I did say Pirates of the Galaxy. Pirates of the Galaxy.
Yeah. See, you thought that was right again. You didn't even realize your mistake. And you also haven't seen those movies.
I haven't seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
I know. And you hadn't seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I have seen Galaxies. Guardians of the Galaxies. Anyway, I am turning somebody's mom. I'm too young for this. Okay, so I don't know how we got on that, but we were talking about, we start every episode off with a this or that question. And this week's this or that question is this question that's circulating.
The interwebs.
The interwebs, social medias. Would you, excuse me. I'm not going to drink coffee. Would you allow your child to spend a summer with Beyonce and Jay-Z? This,
for $1 million.
Yes, that, no. For $1 million.
Would you rather let them spend a summer with Jay-Z and Beyonce for $1 million or stay broke? Because I don't think many of our followers have $1 million.
Right.
Including us.
Including us. Okay, so what is your answer?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the hard pass as well.
This is the thing. Here's how I feel about kids.
Okay.
You get one chance
at
doing it right. You mess your kid's life up.
Oh, got you. I was
if
like,
that one summer with Jay-Z and Beyonce ruins them, and they're 10 and 12, they're ruined forever.
They are ruined forever.
I think about Thanksgiving in 20 years when the kids come home with their little families and they come visit and they got grandbabies.
Yep.
I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah.
$1 million is not worth my children's sanctity or safety. And I don't know
or
that
innocence. And not right. And I think that's the point, is that not that you, I'm not saying, nor would I presume that Jay-Z or Beyonce are bad people. They are pedophiles. They would do
just
something
strangers.
bad. But at the end of the day, they are strangers. And I wouldn't allow my child to go with some Joe Blow that off the street for a summer. I don't care that I've seen you on stages performing because I don't know you.
That is our greatest mistake.
Yeah.
We assume that, and Beyonce and Jay-Z, especially Beyonce, she don't let you into her life like that.
Child, no. Even her Coachella, as much as people were saying it was an intimate view, it was still
2 hours of it. 14 minutes was never before seen
and that
footage.
was very distanced. You know what I mean? It really was like
there was no hidden camera.
It was very distant.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was still very selective. Like, yes, I'm going to let you in my life, but it's going to be a very selective view into my life.
A great word.
So I mean, and I stand Beyonce. Like,
yeah.
Don't get it twisted. I am a fan, but a whole summer, my child, my baby, no.
Yeah, they might be in the Illuminatis too. I don't know if they know the Illuminatis as well.
The Illuminati child, I believe it's all a joke. Y'all can hate me if you want
Illuminati.
to.
So no, my babies, they stay right here with me. I send them to their grandmas for free though.
Child gone. Help you push. But I be missing them too.
You do. They don't miss us though.
They don't.
We come home, they be like, "What up?" Don't black guy head nod me.
Yeah, I know. I be
But also,
sad.
I'm glad you know that. What up, father? That's what Zay says when I come home.
Oh yeah, Isaiah only says mother and father.
And Joe's just like, I ain't playing the game.
Yeah. I
So,
think I don't. Can you leave me
It's
alone?
happening, Liz.
What, they're growing and
They
evolving and turning into real teenagers that don't care about
Isaiah
us?
broke my heart in Hawaii.
Tell us.
We were in Maui as a family, and he was like, my friends going to the beach. I would rather be with them. I was like,
Meanwhile, we're at a beach in Maui, and he
better
was
beach than Santa Monica Pier you've been
and
to
he
a
was
million
like
times.
totally.
Glossy-eyed
Yeah,
McGee.
he was sad.
But I remember that when I was a kid. There's
I do
nothing
too.
my parents could have did that was fun.
That's true.
I'd rather stand up with my friends than went to Disneyland with my parents.
So,
We used to go to our friend's house and just watch what we was already watching at home.
yep.
But it seems so much better as a show at their house.
These are facts. 100%. So we're in agreement.
Yeah, he
Our
ain't taking my
parenting
babies.
styles are the same.
That's my children.
We're a united front.
Yeah.
Send your letter, Beyonce, so we can be tempted.
What if Beyonce called you and was like, Liz, this is me, Beyonce. I sound like Michael Jackson a little bit.
I was like, what is
I
this
can't do
voice?
her voice. But what if she called you?
The answer's still no, girl.
What if she came to the house?
I'm taking every selfie I can, and then I'm going
But
to say
can I
no.
have your kids?
Then that's kind of weird anyways.
Beyonce come to the house and asking for your kids?
Yeah, that's
Hello,
so
nice
weird.
to meet you. Can I have your children?
Yeah,
for
that's
summer?
super weird.
All right, cool.
All right, so
Sorry, B, J. Can't have Zay.
I wanted their couple name to be BJ, by the way. No, it didn't catch on. Okay, so we're going to move on.
BJ's, though.
Huh?
BJ's?
BJ's? What?
BJ.
You know what else starts with a B? Blue Chew. I had no idea what BJ said.
Well, if you have a blue chew,
A BJ.
you can be ready for a BJ. But if you're not in the mood, Blue Chew can get you in the mood.
I need you to recognize when I'm like not catching on and just keep going.
I saw your eyes glaze over. I hear the words. It's not turn. You're like, are you talking about the food place? No,
I'm
I'm talking about
what are you telling me?
the PP.
Okay, so why? So to explain to people what BJ is in case they're.
It's a blowjob.
Oh, right. Here
That's
we are.
where you
Fellatio.
you fellatio that PP.
Okay.
People like it. Couples like it. Men are fans. And sometimes you need a little help getting there. It
You
could
do.
be if you suffer from ED, erectile dysfunction. It could be if you're exhausted, you're not in the mood, whatever the reason is. But regardless of the reason, Blue Chew is here to help.
It's not just for those who suffer from like
It's not.
erectile dysfunction.
It's also for those who want added performance.
yes,
Want to
an
go a couple
extra
rounds,
oomph in the bedroom.
an extra oomph in the bedroom, vacation times. Matter of fact, I need to pack mine from Mexico.
I just saw a packet today.
Can you go and throw it in my suitcase?
I sure can.
And because we're going to be on that beach. You feel
Hence
me?
the reason we're recording this today.
Yeah, we're performing early so we can perform late.
Oh my gosh, I can't. So right now, you guys know about Blue Chew. They are a enhancement to the male performance, whether you suffer from some sort of erectile dysfunction or not. You just want an extra oomph in the bedroom to allow you to last longer. Blue Chew can help you get there because everyone deserves an erection. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com.
BlueChew.com.
Thank you. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use promo code LOVEHOUR. Just pay $5 for shipping. Again, use promo code LOVEHOUR. Just pay $5 for shipping when you visit Blue Chew. That's BLUE, just like the color. Chew.com. Enter promo code LOVEHOUR to try the product for free. Just pay $5 for shipping. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring and being friends of the podcast.
Friends of the podcast.
Indeed.
Friends
okay, and they are. Y'all
podcast.
know that they're added in our Love Hour podcast starter kit. So, yeah, anything that's added to our podcast starter kit is Love Hour approved, and they've been added. They're probably
BJ
the first
approved.
thing. BJ approved, vacation approved.
I'm looking forward to vacations.
And listen, and summer's coming up, child. Men, get your lives. Vacation sex is a thing. Blue Chew should be a thing.
Amen.
So right now what we're going to do is transition into the topic for the day. And what we want to do is actually, since we're doing the Love Hour Live, is give people, our listeners, insight into what the live experience is like. So what we're going to do is cover what we covered in the Love Hour Live last year.
Word.
You ready?
Treyway. Yep.
So the Love Hour Live, of course, is the live experience. It is the podcast, but we take it on the road when we're doing, Kev's doing the Real Community Social Media Tour. And during that time, again, it's just like the live version, but we talk about topics that we haven't covered or give a different perspective than what we've given in the podcast. Okay. So last year, we always have a theme for the live experience. And last year's theme was one thing I wish my spouse knew.
Yes.
So I spoke from the woman's perspective and said, this is one thing I wish my husband knew. And then Kevin spoke from his perspective and said, this is one thing I wish my wife knew.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I was looking for agreement because I feel like we're at the live experience, but you guys are just listening.
You say that makes sense on the stage.
I know, because thankfully Joshua's here, so he's nodding his head in agreement. But because I am such a teacher, I'm always looking for that affirmation, yes,
feedback me.
I'm with you. I'm
Feed
following
me back.
you. I understand what you're saying. Like I'm always looking for that.
Yeah.
So anyway, what we did was we introduced this concept of the cycle of brokenness. And the cycle of brokenness has two parts.
Three.
The brokenness cycle, three parts. Has the brokenness cycle, the momentum cycle, and the jump start cycle.
Yes.
So did I do the brokenness cycle?
We started with the jump start.
Okay, go.
The jump start is just like a car battery. Sometimes your battery's dead and your car won't start. And the jump start is you putting that black and red thing on there, turning on the other car and getting it going. That's when you guys have been beefing and, one of you guys cracks a joke to try to break the ice and make the other not be so mad. That is the jump start. For Melissa and I, we talked about this on last week's episode. Sometimes I'll try to give Melissa a sensual hug when we've been beefing.
That is your jump start.
That is my jump start.
That is your jump start.
And it is my olive branch. Like, hey, I know we've been arguing or we've been at odds, but I would like to begin the healing process. And it's me dipping my toes in the water to see if you are completely ice cold frigid or warm. And sometimes you respond better than others, but so far it's been mostly successful.
That's good.
I think you acknowledge that we that we've been beefing or whatever, and you don't want it to continue.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. What do you do?
I just need a full cycle of let me get over this.
So am I always the jump starter in our relationship?
You might be.
So what if I don't feel like jump starting one time? How are we going to get out of it?
I guess we'll have to see when you don't feel like it. And then
BJ would help if you wanted to start that off, because I don't care how mad I am at you. That'll make me happy. You could have socked me.
That goes back to the stressors and accelerators and brakes for men and women.
There's been so many times I've been trying to be mad at you and I don't. You'd be like, I don't know. It's just hard to remain mad at you.
Oh, I'm endearing. Okay, so that's the jumpstart cycle, the momentum cycle, but we haven't gone over it. We're going to finish with Okay. So the momentum cycle is the cycle that you want to live in your relationship. And that is when you and your spouse are on good terms and you're feeding into each other's love tanks.
Yep.
And so it's not, what did we say? It's not like out of obligation. It's not scorekeeping. It is very much that I feel fulfilled in my love tank. My husband is fulfilled in his love tank, and we're pouring into one another.
Yes.
And that pouring creates its own momentum. It feeds unto itself, and it creates its own momentum.
Absolutely.
And that's the cycle you want to live in. And obviously, life is dynamic, and you're not always going to be in the momentum cycle. But the point would be to live there as much as possible in order to have and keep a healthy, happy relationship.
Yes. And it is impossible to stay there forever.
Oh, for sure.
Life happens. Life happens. Sometimes there's things that happen in your life that aren't necessarily the fault of your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember sometimes at work, dating back to Boeing, especially when I worked jobs that I didn't like, and just being like having a bad day at work and just carrying that at home.
Yeah.
And unintentionally.
You want to be able to check that stuff at the threshold of the door, but you can't always.
Yes. And I think one of the negatives of email on your phone is it often brings work home into the house. Like I remember when we worked at the bank, like the moment you left,
clocked out,
outside of stress of sales goals, there was no way for new work information to happen. But when I was at ADD and I'd get a script or notes or whatever, or some bad news via email late at night.
Yeah.
Sometimes that carries right into the bedroom. That happens on the tour. We
Yeah.
find out a venue's been oversold or something like that. You just be like, oh.
Yeah.
And then, it carries into your life.
Absolutely. And so the last part is the broken cycle. And this is the cycle where you and your spouse are both deficient. And you don't want to stay or live in that broken cycle, because we've been talking about this too. Hurt people. And when you're broken or deficient, it's hard to pour into your spouse.
Right.
And your patience can be thin. Your emotional connection can be low. Like all of those things kind of create a tense environment in the home.
Yeah.
And it can make you feel very separated, and it can feel very isolated and lonely.
All of the above.
It's
a cycle of emotional brokenness. And the idea is you want to stay in the momentum cycle.
Right.
Sometimes you dip into the broken cycle. You jumpstart to get out of the broken cycle into the momentum cycle.
Yeah.
No matter what, you will always be vacillating between those two.
Right.
But what happens is if you stay too long in the broken cycle, then you go into the divorce cycle.
Right.
And you are broken
irrevocably. Yes.
Irrevocably. Is that
irrevocably?
Irrevocably.
I said it all the way wrong, but I know what you're trying to say.
Okay.
So our definition of the brokenness cycle is when a woman is emotionally empty outside the bedroom, she becomes emotionally absent inside the bedroom. And when a man is emotionally empty inside the bedroom, he becomes emotionally absent outside the bedroom. And in a nutshell, what we're trying to get at is that men and women have different emotional needs.
Yes.
And for the most part, a woman's emotional needs are met outside of the bedroom, and a man's emotional needs are often met inside of the bedroom. And if I'm emotionally broken, then it's hard for me to be present for my husband inside of the bedroom. And if he's feeling emotionally broken, it's hard for him to be present for me outside of the bedroom. And again, that's how you find yourself in this cycle of in the brokenness stage of this cycle, which is I can't pour into you, you can't pour into me, we feel isolated, we feel lonely, there's tension, there's arguments, my patience is low. Like you find yourself there because you haven't been able to connect.
And what happens is you get into this difficult, vicious cycle where, say I'm mad because I'm not getting none in the bedroom. So then I'm not available for you outside the bathroom, outside of the bedroom.
Right.
So me not being available to you makes you less likely to be available to me in the bedroom. And then she ain't give me none. I ain't gonna talk to her.
Right.
We ain't talking to me, so I ain't gonna give him none.
Right.
And then now you're just like, and it takes somebody to say,
to intervene.
I'm not getting it anyway, so let me try and just have a great conversation with her, blah, blah, blah. And then hopefully that
someone has to be the bigger person. Otherwise, the point of a cycle is that it just goes like this.
Just a circle.
Yeah, it's just a circle and feeding unto itself.
And
something has to intervene to stop it.
Yes, you have to break the wheel like Daenerys Targaryen. All right. I don't want to spoil it, but you should have watched Game of Thrones by now. But anyway, and I think what happens is, it's just as people, your pride gets in the way
Yes, often.
And you don't, especially, okay, for example, this hasn't happened to me yet, but say I'm always the one going in to give the hug, to break it, to break the cycle. And what happens, actually, I'm going to make a different point than I was making. What happens is either of us could be the initiator to try to break the cycle. If the other person's not receptive, like say I go to give you a hug, right, to try to break it, and you're like, man, get off of me.
Yeah.
I'm still mad.
Yeah.
Now, because I went out of my way to try to break it and you weren't receptive of that, I'm going to be even more angry.
Sure.
So inevitably, I'm going to go in the room and watch whatever, Seinfeld, Game of Thrones, whatever, old episodes of The Office, and be like, man, forget her. And then you come around an hour later, 2 days later, like, hey, man, you want to talk? No, I'm good. And now you're like, oh, see, and now you feel the same way I felt. And next thing you know, it's a week or 2 weeks and we've been beefing, you know. So that ends up happening a lot. So although very difficult, one of you has to accept that. Because it's hard to be the initiator to try to break that cycle.
Absolutely.
So that was hard.
It's maturity.
It's maturity. So the other person, in the best case scenario, will be available to meet you there, even though they're still upset.
Right.
In an effort to not descend further into a broken cycle.
Right.
And because the further you descend, the longer you stay in there, the harder
it's going to be to come out.
and harder it is to come out.
Yeah. Okay, so we broke it into 3 different sections in as far as what I wish you knew. So the first one is intimacy.
Yes.
So, husband, what I wish you knew is that intimacy for a woman is spelled Time and Talk.
Yeah, girl.
I know,
That's
right? You go do it. That's what the movie
Yeah,
said.
girl. Snappity snap. I'm natural.
So again, going back to the idea that I need you to be present for me outside of the bedroom, women require time and talk. We require your time and your conversation in order to make that intimate connection. One of the sayings that's people always say is, oh girl, once he has your mind, her body is easy. And part of the reason like that even exists is because a lot of times once a woman's mind is like focused on you and she's good with you, we've made that connection outside of the bedroom, whether that's through spending time together, that's having, these long drawn out conversations that are very vulnerable and honest and transparent. Once we get there and we feel that connection, it's very easy to commit her body to get her body. It's easy for us to commit our body.
Commit that body to your boy.
But that's difficult to do when you feel that there's an emotional divide.
Yes, because for you, see, men, for better or for worse, once your body is ready, your mind falls into alignment.
Wait, for who?
Men. For me, I'll speak for me. If my body's ready, my mind's like, man, forget whatever we was on. That butt don't do we.
Right.
You want that butt? I do. But women, if your mind is not there, it's. I'll speak for you instead of women. For you, there's been times where we haven't felt close.
Right.
We've been beefing, whatever. Right. We're not talking. It's hard to get your mind to go there.
Absolutely.
Because you're like, man, I'm just thinking about whatever.
We don't feel close, but also in reading
Come As You Are.
Yeah, Come As You Are.
By Emily Nagoski.
Yes. So in this book that I'm reading by Emily Nagoski, it's called Come As You Are, which, by the way, if you haven't joined my book club, you absolutely should.
It's a growing, budding community.
It is a growing, budding community. It has, I want to say we're closing in on 1,000 members. It is, we haven't been doing it, but maybe 3 weeks. And
it's lit in there.
It is lit in there. It's a community. It's a sisterhood. It's a bond that I didn't even realize would like sprout from this. But we have a book that we read every single month. This month we're finishing up Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. Even if you join the book club late, I highly recommend this book. If you are single, if you are celibate, if you are married, if you've been married for 1 year, if you've been married for 30 years, I recommend this book. I recommend this book because it gives a lot of insight into accelerators and brakes and all of these things. And my preferred way of reading this book has been on Audible. I am a busy woman. I travel quite often. I do 1,000,001 things all of the time. And so the idea of sitting down and I love to read, but sitting down and reading a book isn't always something I have time to do.
Right.
Okay. So Audible allows me to read but on the go.
Right.
Okay. So it is freaking fantastic. Audible has titles that I absolutely love. Every book that we will be reading in my book club will be available on Audible. So yeah, definitely recommend, number one, joining the book club, and then using Audible, because I know as a mama, period, you are busy in your life.
It allows you to listen while you're doing your makeup,
cleaning,
driving, on the way to the airport, on the plane. And you just don't, I mean, traveling, you can't read and drive.
No.
And remember when you used to commute, you used to be listening while driving all the time.
And if you have a desk job and they allow you to listen to earphones,
it allows you to listen while you work.
Yes, if you have a desk job, it allows you to listen while you work.
Yeah.
Which again is one of my favorite things, because sometimes you want to listen to music and sometimes you want to learn. You know what I mean?
Tired of music.
I do get tired of music, and it allows you to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Start listening with the 30-day Audible trial and your first audiobook plus 2 Audible originals for free. Visit audible.com/lovehour or text lovehour to 500-500. Again, that's audible.com/lovehour or text lovehour, that's LOVEHOUR to 500-500. Again, the book that we are reading this month is Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski, and she just confirmed that she will be a guest on the podcast. So read the book.
Shout out to you for the cold reach out.
I'm so excited to have her. I am.
Just DM it.
I totally slid in her DMs and I emailed her. Read the book. If you read nothing but the first chapter, your mind will be blown.
And it's beneficial to me as the husband and receiver of the book.
Yes.
Because, can we say it 1 second here?
What?
One of the things I liked about her book that I'll say is I used to feel responsible for your sex drive or sex interest or lack thereof.
So going back to the intimacy thing. So keep going.
Yeah. So, men spell intimacy SEX.
Right.
And it's an important part of our life. It is our lifeblood. It makes us feel, it's a great barometer for me as far as how healthy we are. Mm-hmm. There's never been a time where we've been having a lot of sex and we've been having marital problems.
Right.
You know what I mean? Usually when we're struggling in the bedroom, we're struggling in the marriage as well.
It's definitely a good thermostat of what's going on.
So one thing that I like about this book is that it has you owning your sexuality.
Which is so important. It's so empowering and important, I feel like, for women to own their sexuality. And part of owning it is the knowledge.
The knowledge, the understand. And that's why I think some of this stuff that we do for the Love Hour is valuable, even if you're not married. Mm-hmm. Because the more you know about yourself, the more prepared you are for a partner. Absolutely. You can tell your potential 100%. Husband, look, for example, whatever is my accelerator, it's this, and that. These are sensitive brakes, or I have sensitive brakes, or whatever.
So just let's explain that really quickly. So what she talks about is that there is no such thing as a sex drive.
Right.
Okay. That's already very mind-blowing.
Right.
And what she says is that a drive is something that you need for survival. So hunger is a drive. Thirst is a drive. Sleep, she actually says, is a drive. These are things that you need in order to survive.
Yeah.
Sex is a desire.
Yes.
And that desire is managed by your accelerators and your brakes.
Right.
So once you understand, these are my accelerators, meaning these are the things that help me get there. They don't necessarily have to be turn ons. They can be, but I don't always like to use the word turn on because the connotation that I have.
It's very like, this should lead directly to sex.
Exactly.
A turn on. If you touch me here, I'm in the mood.
Right. And what she actually separates desire and arousal.
Okay.
So to me, I would say that your accelerators are arousal. Mm-hmm. They are things that you say, oh, that's a sexual stimulus.
Right.
And then that arousal turns into desire, and then desire can turn into the act. So what you were saying earlier about like, how does it work with you? So what she would say is, in your mind, it's very noisy. It's a construction site. There's a lot of things going on. So if your husband, for example, touches you, your mind says, oh, well, that's a sexual stimulus. What do I want to do with that? If you're in a state where your mind is clear, you can process, oh, I think I want more of that. That's desire.
I like it.
Right. So this is arousal.
You may continue.
Your mind computes what it is, and then they turn that into desire.
Okay.
I want more of that. That's desire.
I can give you more.
Okay, you get it?
I can give you as much as you want.
But do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
I can give you a lot. I understand it.
Joshua's nodding and yachting, but he got it.
Got it.
So when your mind is cluttered and there are breaks or stressors is what I say, not breaks. Mm-hmm. Stressors, your brain says, What's going on down there? I'm confused. What's happening? Oh, is that a sexual stimulus? Nah, not today. And so what comes out is, thank you, no thank you.
Thank you, next.
Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it becomes from this is arousal to I don't want more of that. That's not a desire. I want you to stop.
So sometimes when you rub on your thigh, it leads to booty scooch.
Yes.
Which is,
I want more of that.
I'm going to back that thing
so
up. So
she talks about it being like a grocery store or restaurant. You say, oh, a restaurant. I'm hungry. So it's one thing to recognize it's one thing to recognize the restaurant. It's another thing to say, I want that. So then you go and you order your plate, you taste it or you get a little bit and then you say, oh no, this is really good. I want more.
I love thinking about this with penis. Like, this is really good.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So the point is that.
But I like to visualize you saying I want more.
Okay, but the point is, listen to me. You have to manage.
No underwear on.
Okay, stop.
So what's the opposite of that? If you're at the restaurant and you're like, are you passing by a restaurant and being like, I'm not hungry at all?
No, you always recognize a stimulus. You will always recognize the restaurant. You will always recognize the stimulus. It's just a matter of, am I in a position where I want more or do I want this to stop? And sometimes it's actually, there's an in between. Do I want more of this? Do I want this to stop? Can I even be at a position of recognizing that this is a stimulus?
Got it. Yeah.
Because my brain is too noisy. So I'm just like, I am so stressed out that this may be an irritating touch.
I actually, in hindsight with this information, I can feel like this is an irritating touch.
Yes.
Times where you've been like, this is an irritating touch. And how I process it, it's not I don't want sex or it's not I don't want sex right now. It is I don't want you.
Right.
And I don't want you. And that's we
rejection.
internalize that rejection without realizing that might not be solely our fault.
No. Well, the thing about it is 9 times out of 10, it's not because it's about, again, she talks about context.
Yeah.
And context is external circumstances and brain state. It is the two of them. So it is so much more than this is a sexual stimulus. It is, okay, that was a sexual stimulus. Is my brain ready to get there? No, if I have stressors in my life, if I have to-do lists, if I have bills that I'm worried about, if I have work that I'm worried about. You always give the example nowadays where you're talking about if the house is being foreclosed on as an example. If that's a stressor for me, especially if I'm sensitive to my breaks, then that would be a stressor on my mind. My brain is not you
can't even get to the sexual thing. Like there. And as a man, I could be like, bro, we finna get foreclosed on tomorrow, but tonight,
and it's the opposite for someone who is sensitive to breaks or sensitive to the breaks is what I want to say. So the last thing I wanted to say on the subject is that this is why I recommend this book. And honestly, just anything about like sexuality and being familiar with your own body is because it gives, a lot of times women give that power away to their men. And so even for us, just as an example, I expected you to know so much about me that I didn't know about me. And so it's like, how does that work? How am I expecting him to know what I like and what I don't like and how does that work?
And you personally, you weren't much for feedback in that department. So I'm literally like, is this good? Is this bad?
And I feel like that is so common.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the prize is for you and therefore you should know what you want. And now I'm like,
and they're bumping around with a flashlight.
Child,
what's in here?
I am so completely for every woman learning. Oh, y'all, my hair is sweaty and I don't have a relaxer.
Up, down, left, right, A, B, start.
The point is that I recommend this book because it allows you to become familiar with your own body.
Yes.
And whether you're in a sexual relationship or not, like even if you're celibate, if you've had any sort of relationship with a man or, a woman, whoever, whichever, if you're a male or female, you can still, what?
You mean like?
No, meaning I was talking to women, but honestly, it's the same for men as well. Because men can have sensitive brakes and accelerators. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that even if you've been in a relationship, oh, this used to always make me mad, or this would always like turn me off. Or
you mean outside of sex?
Outside of sex. That's my point. Is that outside of sex, you always, when your body is like, oh, wait a minute, I need to go because I feel like this is about to go somewhere. That would be an accelerator for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You also know where maybe you were there, something happened, something crossed your mind. You're like, all of a sudden I'm turned off. Those are things you should be aware of as brakes and accelerators. So that way, when you do get into a long-term committed relationship, you get married, you're fully aware to divulge to your spouse. So this works. This doesn't work. This is an accelerator. Actually, when you do that, that's going to be a brake. And I'm highly sensitive to brakes. Or, child, the brakes don't work in my car.
Listen, let me ask you this, right? Imagine had we came into our marriage if you were armed with that information.
That's what I'm saying.
About yourself. Like,
I think this...
15 years in.
I think that this information specifically should be included in all premarital counseling.
Absolutely.
Everyone should do this work ahead of time.
Yes.
Because the fact of the matter is we are going into these relationships unarmed.
Yeah.
And unarmed, uninformed, and unaware.
And unprepared.
So
you don't know about me, but what's worse is you don't know about you.
Exactly.
At least in a committed relationship, I should be able to tell you what I like, what's good for me in every facet of my life.
Right.
I like these movies. And it's interesting. We know a lot about ourselves in other ways.
Right.
I like these type of dates. I like this type of food. I don't like this type of food.
But when you grow up in
sex?
Purity culture, when you grow up in church,
never look at my vagina.
It's so forbidden that you're stunted. What'd you say?
Stigma.
It's
taking the stigma out of sex.
So it ends up stunting you. And so you go into these relationships, and this is another thing, is that you don't realize that you've been so infiltrated with these images that are unrealistic that when you don't measure up, you think you're broken and something is wrong.
You internalize that negatively.
And so if your spouse only has, their view of social media, maybe, or not social media, but media in general, and maybe they're the higher desire spouse, or maybe they're the ones with, I won't say higher desire. I will say they're more sensitive to their accelerators than they are to their brakes.
High cess.
Yes. Then you feel, okay, so that's the norm. That's the standard. I'm not that. I'm messed up.
You know what? You said something in your live today in your book club on Liz's List. You said something that I thought was interesting. The norm in our society is a very active man.
Yes. High desire, high accelerator man.
High desire, high
low
accelerator
brakes,
man.
no brakes.
Low brakes, no brakes. Anything other than that is considered abnormal. And abnormal. Nobody wants to be abnormal. Nobody wants to be told you're normal. I use this example when I was much younger. I had a heart murmur, and I got rushed to the emergency room, and they checked my EKG, electrocardiogram.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And it came back abnormal. So all these doctors rushed in, and I was freaking out. I was all alone. So they ran more and more tests, and they're like, oh, actually, your EKG is normal to you.
Right.
It's just not normal for everyone else. And it was so scary to be abnormal and so reassuring to be normal to myself.
Right.
So I think if nothing else from this book, if you learn what you like, what is your baseline, what is normal for you, what accelerates you, because that's the thing about marriage. It's about learning what you like, what your spouse likes, and adjusting, because that might change. Maybe later in our marriage, you'll be less sensitive or more sensitive. And it's about me knowing enough about you and you sharing enough so that I can adjust to see what you like, and you might change. And one of the important things about sex is you got to get naked. That means taking off the clothes, taking off the panty, and taking off the bra. And the one bra you don't want to take off is a bra from Third Love, because boy, them things are comfortable, aren't they, Liz? Because I can't speak from experience, but I've heard you say it a lot.
Yes, indeed, and that was hysterical. Third Love, listen,
that's all you've been wearing.
It's literally all I've been wearing. I think I've officially transformed my undergarments to
and
Third Love.
I'm a fan. I like the way they look.
Yeah, they're
sleek yet stylish.
They're so comfortable. They're so comfortable, so support. They are supportive. They're great. They're just great bras.
They're great.
Like they have 70 plus sizes. That's what we'll say. They have 70 plus sizes everywhere from AA, child own up the alphabet, and then double some of the alphabet. All you have to do is take a fit finder quiz where they size you. You take these, it's not really measurements, but they give you like the shape of your boobs and all of these things, and then they suggest the correct bra for you. It's really amazing, and I have actually found, I thought I knew the correct size, and then I actually went with their recommended size because what do I know? Apparently nothing. So it's literally just a few simple questions to find your perfect fit. And it only takes literally about a minute. It doesn't take very long unless you're like me. And I'm like, well, let me think about that. But really, it's not hard at all. It's not very intimidating. Every customer has 60 days to wear it, wash it, and put it to the test. And if you don't love it, return it. And Third Love will wash it and donate it to a woman in need. That is actually my favorite part of this whole thing, that if you don't like it, it's not just going to the garbage. They're actually going to help another woman. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone. So right now they're offering my listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/lovehour now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/lovehour for 15% off today. Love Hour is LOVEHOUR, third THIRD, love.com/lovehour for 15% off today.
So the other thing that wives should know about husbands is that we want to be wanted too.
You want to be wanted too.
We want to be desired. 99.98% of the time that we have sex, it's initiated by me, the husband. Most husbands share that same sentiment.
Right.
Sometimes your wife's receptive to it.
Or not most husbands. You should say.
Or I mean, when I did the Love Hour, most husbands were agreeing.
Okay, but now this audience is wider. You don't think you want to rephrase it and just say husbands and say like higher desire?
Most higher desire people.
I'm just trying to be more
Whoever
aware.
higher desire usually is the initiator.
Because what I have learned through my book club and having high desire women in there is that same sense of rejection exists for them as well.
So are they experiencing the same thing the way I am?
Yes.
And their husbands are like, nah, and they feel rejected.
Yes. And so part of the reason I want to have a low desire man, because I want to know if they have cloudy brain as well. Do they have a construction site brain where they're not registering the stimulus, the sexual stimulus?
Got it.
Because I don't know that. But when I have talked to higher desire women, they feel that same sense of rejection.
Got it. So what I'll say is,
I mean, I know what we're talking about is what I wish my spouse knew, but what I've learned since we originally did this is that high desire women have that same feeling.
Okay. In my marriage, I am usually the initiator.
Yes.
Sometimes you are more receptive than others. Sometimes you're not receptive, but there isn't as many times where you are the initiator.
Sure.
And for men, I'm aging.
Yeah.
My body's changed. I got man boobs. Might need Third Love for men. And I want to feel wanted. I want you to initiate.
Sure.
You could initiate by mistake. If we're both asleep, you reach across me by mistake to grab the remote and turn the TV off, and you so happen to graze.
And that counts?
Oh, I'll be like, what's up? I'm not asleep.
And that counts, though?
That counts. If I thought you was intentional, he's intentional. I don't want to do that to Travis Green's song. But it doesn't even take much for men.
Right.
You a wink, a sexy text.
Winks are accelerators for me, by the way.
I don't know how to wink.
I know, we've had this
Look at my
discussion
wink.
before.
It's not sexy.
Can you do it soft?
Okay. That's why I don't wink. I know it's an accelerator for you. We just said it. I don't feel confident winking. I feel like I have the beginning of a seizure.
Do it again.
Rihanna can't wink either.
The one accelerator list.
I know.
One
You can't
accelerator.
Hilarious.
How's my right eye?
That's much better than this one.
It doesn't feel sexy at all.
But also you're just doing it. You have to know when the appropriate
look at this.
Context, Kev.
Context, I know, but look at the execution.
That was better.
Better?
Yeah. Definitely do right eye. Don't do this.
I'm blinking hard. Hello, do you like that?
Yeah.
Look at this. Hey, girl.
That's much better.
Okay. But one thing that makes me feel wanted and desired is you initiating.
Yes.
And it's more than being receptive. Because a lot of times in our marriage, I know you are sitting there like, well, you know what? I'm okay tonight. If he were to go for it, I'd be open to it.
Right.
But if he don't go for it, I'm going to be right in this bed sleep. And the moment, all I ever ask is if you know you're up for it, You started off. You back that thing up on your boy.
Oh, I can't stand
booty
you
scooch
sometimes.
onto that. I'll be ready to go, and that'll make me feel like, man, I am the man. She wants me.
Because so much of is it connection or is it ego is wrapped up in that?
I think it could be ego.
It could be both.
Connection too. We want to feel.
It could be
wanted.
both. They don't have to be mutually exclusive.
They don't. I want to be desired.
Yeah.
I want to know you're attracted to me. I want you. Hey man,
That's
you look
it.
good. Hey man, I want you.
Right.
I want you. I want to. Sex is really is being as physically close as humanly possible. And to know that you want me that way, and not just when I want you.
Sure.
It's the equivalent of you saying I want you to want to do the dishes. You want me to just jump up and do the dishes because you know it's important to you.
Got you.
And jump in without having to be told, coxed, or asked. Because it's the same. If I come home, you come home and the dishes are, the house is clean. That's different than if you say, hey, can you help me clean the house? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get it. I get
It's
what
the
you're
same thing for sex. I want you to come over and be like, nah, let's get in there. Let's get these drawers.
Yeah.
There's one time when you were, man, I was traveling. I've been gone for a minute.
What you about to say?
And all you said was, when you get home, it's me and you. Take a shower and it's me and you. And I was just like, I asked him if I could fly the plane so I could be like, I'll drive the boat. How do you make it go the fastest? Can you drive to my house? Land in the valley. Don't land at Burbank Airport. That's closer to my house. And it was just a simple thing like that. It wasn't super dirty. It wasn't all that.
Yeah.
It was just like, I've missed you. I can't wait to see you. And I'd be like,
You're so
I like
silly.
Will Smith at the end of Pursuit of Happiness. I want to be loved.
Oh my God.
I want to be wanted. And we need that. The same way you need to be told, I'm beautiful. I love you. You look good. I need the same thing in a negligee.
Oh, see, you just don't know.
I
well enough
can't.
as
Here's
well.
the line. I crossed it every time.
Every single time. Okay, did you have anything else you wanted to add there? Nah. Okay, where are we at? Are we going to stop here and maybe do a part 2?
I think so. I think I don't want to rush it.
Okay.
And I think we have enough left on the bone. And
what else do we have to talk about? So we did intimacy. I think we're almost done there with intimacy. And then communication, I think, is one of them.
Yep.
And he doesn't want you to fix it.
Yes.
Is another one.
We'll spend more time there.
Okay, we'll spend more time there next week.
Yes.
All right. So thank you guys so very much for joining us today on today's Love Hour episode, part 1. And we will go into part 2
next week. We'll be in
Until-
Mexico for then, for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in Mexico for then. Thank you again so much for. Makes no sense.
We're tired. We
Thank
love y'all.
you for
Bye.
joining us
Bye.
today on today's episode.
Bye.
I haven't plugged the Love Hour conference, so I just want to say really quickly that the Love Hour conference registration is open right now today. And so if you're interested in more information, the speakers, etc., go to thelovehour.com to find more information.
All right, then.
Okay, bye.